Yes, I've started recording. Yeah, so you are able to see the whiteboard, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll start our discussion session. So anyway, so last class, we have started our dispersion dissipation relations. Okay, so this we have discussed in detail. I have shown you. One second. Yes. Okay. So we have started this, dispersion dissipation. So there are two things are there. Okay, so dissipation, so we have with respect to time and another one with respect to space. Okay, so we are calling as H and delta. Okay, so now dissipation, as already I told you, it is related to time dissipation, whereas dispersion is related to spatial increments. So how do you check, so if you have any differential equations or any difference scheme or whatever you have, so if I want to check, find out this dispersion dissipation relation, say, how do you check? No. So what is that method we said yesterday? No. So you people are there. So what is the method? So if I have any partial differential equation, okay, or any ordinary differential equation, say. So now if I want to do this dispersion or stability, these type of issues, what is that we have to do? How do you check? No,
We
how do you
take
check?
the equation and we'll substitute it in the FDE and we'll take the negative, FDE equation minus the original equation.
No, no, not that one. See, what we said last class was stability. How do you check? See, we said, right, if you have mu double
So
dot
that
or
we should,
so you have to substitute
we'll verify
these
the
type of
results.
so these kind of thing, and then the roots, if they are positive or negative or whatever, they define your stability. So this we had said, right, one Newman stability analysis. Okay. So generally, since we are having a partial differential equations, and if it is one dimension, so you have to substitute like this actually, kx minus omega t or omega t minus kx. So now you substitute this in your partial differential equation, say, and then verify its roots. Okay, so how they are looking like and something like that is. So that is what one Newman stability analysis. So last class we have already started for the one-dimensional, the wave equation. Okay. So you have, you remember, right, all the derivation, whatever we have done. So we had rho dou square u by dou t square. Okay. So is equal to, so m dou square u by dou x square. Now in finite difference, say, see last class, how did we represent this in a finite difference format? Now what do we do? What type of scheme we used actually in finite difference? See, you have a, with
Leapfrog
respect to
scheme.
time,
Yes, sir.
leapfrog scheme we did. So what is leapfrog scheme? Uh,
Central difference now.
Central difference in time, central difference in space. Okay, so that we are
Space.
calling as central leapfrog scheme. Okay, so this we did, and finally we were interested not in the solution, we wanted to find out the stability. Anyway, is both of them are linked here. So now we have derived some equations. Okay, dispersion. Okay, so two things was that, so we derived a dispersion equations, for two cases. So one was, your k was real. Okay, so where omega was a complex kind of a thing, then omega was real or physical real value, and k is complex actual. So that you can, of course, both of them also can be complex. That's a different issue. Okay, so now for this, what we did was we wrote our finite difference equation. So we substituted this actually in finite difference format. So e to the power of, so I hope all of you remember omega m into delta minus, your k hat, say I into h actual. So if it is a finite difference or if it is analytical equation, So whatever you want to do, so if you want to check stability and dispersion, so you have to start with this type of substitution, and then you have to get the dispersion. So in analytical systems, if it is undamped kind of a system, so phase velocity will be omega by k, or you can write it in several ways. Omega is equal to ck, or k is equal to omega by c. So this is our phase velocity or the equation in analytical medium. Okay. So now in finite difference formats, we derived equations also. Last class, if you remember, right? So we have done all the derivations. So we got two equations. Omega hat, is equal to, you see, 1 by delta. So both of them can be written like this: pi by 2 minus, arc sine, psi kind of a thing. Okay. So and similarly, this was for k hat also we derived. Okay. So both of them were in the look was same. Both of them were looking same kind of a thing. Only thing, you see, instead of delta, so now you have to replace with the h itself. And one second. Okay. So here we had h, and we had, you see, pi by 2 minus some arc sine, some another constant actual. So this was our dispersion, the dispersion dissipation relations also. So what we did in our last class was, so this we have checked this format also. So now what happens, like yesterday's class, we have seen, suppose if you take 10 samples per wavelength, say. So what happens if the original velocity is c? So now in our finite difference in the numerical scheme, say the phase velocity will be zero point 0.9 times you followed, right? The c itself we had, which means if the waves have propagated, say, up to some 100 kilometers. So in your finite difference approach, say, so the waves will not even come to 100 kilometer. In that time, they would have come up to only 98 kilometers itself. So now what happens is, so as the distance increases, your errors also, you see, increases actually. Okay. So that's also one very important thing, we have seen in our last class. And finally, what we did was we wrote both these equations, say. You can write as, 1 by delta, so pi by 2 minus, arc sine zeta kind of a thing. So both the equations can be written in this type of a format. And then we derived this we have examined actually. So this relation, so what happens, see, like when psi, say, so this psi, when it is less than -1, less than this itself, so what we found out was phi is 1 by delta. So this equation we did. So what we said was, the real part, say, of your phi, so when psi lies between -1 to 1, so what we said was your phi imaginary portion, say, so this will be 0, and your real part, okay, so this will lie from pi by delta. Okay. And another case also we have seen, when psi is more than 1. Okay. So in this case also, your phi real, say, was 0, and you had this phi imaginary term actually. Okay. So this was some 1 by delta, so log of some psi plus root of psi square minus 1. And we had another case also, psi less than -1. So this case also we had real portion, which is pi by delta, and then the imaginary portion, say. Okay. So this was 1 by delta, so log of minus zeta minus square root of psi square minus 1. Okay. So these were the expressions we released actually. So now, so these things are valid for so these three cases, say, they are valid for this type of expression. So now what we have to do is, now this we have to find out for omega bar and k bar actually. So now what to do is, we substitute phi is equal to omega bar, this is delta with this is delta, then eta with this psi, and then we will examine what happens for this type of equation. Now in the second case, same thing we will repeat by replacing phi with the k hat, delta with h, then psi with this constant, and we will see how things are going to vary kind of a thing. And these things have to be remembered. So like psi, if it is -1 to 1, say, so imaginary component is 0, real portion only is there here. But whereas when psi is greater than 1, say, so your phi real is 0 and phi imaginary, say. Okay. So this is 1 by delta into, so you are having only an imaginary number here. When psi is less than 1, say, so you have the real portion here, and phi also will be imaginary kind of a thing. Okay. So this we will use it to establish in our this cases. So now let us see for this case. Okay. So that is This case. So now let us see for the first case. Omega hat is equal to 1 by delta. So pi by 2 say minus arc sine psi kind of thing. First let us see this case. So now if you remember, right, so psi was so 1 plus s square. Okay, so cos of so 2 pi by n times lambda. So these are number of number sample this thing minus 1 itself. Okay, so this is our expression. Psi 1. So we also wrote in our last class, you see, omega hat say. So 1 by delta, so arc cos, okay. So 1 plus s square, okay. So cos of so 2 pi by n times lambda, okay. So minus 1. So this was our expression, okay. So now what we will do is so what we will do is, so now we will examine say, okay. So now what happens with respect to psi, whether real part or how the solutions they look like, okay. So this is what we are saying. So now as already I told you, so now because anyway this quantity is a real quantity say, okay. So this cos of 2 pi by n times lambda, this is anyway so this quantity if you see here, so this cos of 2 pi by lambda, okay. So n times lambda, so this anyway lies between minus 1 to 1, okay. So this anyway is going to lie from minus 1 to 1 itself. So which means so this 1 minus, you can write this as so this equation, so 1 minus 2 times s square say, okay. Your psi, you can write this as so your psi say, so this expression, so because of cos 2 lambda can go from minus 1 to plus 1. So if it is minus 1 say, okay, so minus 1 minus 1, what happens is minus 2. So 1 minus 2 s square will come actually. Now suppose if cos of 2 pi by n lambda, if it is 1 say, so 1 minus 1 is 0. So your psi will be, you see, 1 itself, okay. So your psi basically lies from 1 minus 2 s square to 1 itself. So now we all know that s is obviously greater than 0. Last class we have written s is some c into delta by h itself. Delta is your time increment and h is your spatial increment itself, okay. So now here we will see some cases. So psi is going to lie between this to this itself, okay. So now let us see the first case, that is minus 1 less than or equal to psi less than or equal to 1, okay. So similar to this case, so what we have done previously, okay. So let us see this itself. So now, so this psi, if it is less than or equal to minus less than or equal to 1 say, okay. So this condition, okay, that means you see minus 1 less than or equal to psi, and of course psi cannot be always, it will be less than 1 itself, okay. So it cannot be more than 1. So this case is ruled out actually, okay, because psi in this case it can never, the maximum value it can take itself is you followed right 1 itself, okay. So now minus 1 less than 1, so which means so your s square, okay, is less than or equal to 2 by 1 minus cos of, you see, 2 pi by n lambda, okay. So this is a condition what we have. So 2 by this itself what we have. So now if yes satisfies this condition say, okay. So if yes satisfies, okay, the above condition, so if yes satisfies the above condition say, okay. So your psi, it always lies in between this case, okay. So now we can, so now because if psi lies from minus 1 to plus 1, so now what is the solution here? So when it lies from minus 1 to 1 say, so your imaginary component is 0, so only your omega bar actually, it is going to be pure real kind of a thing itself. So for this case what happens is so your omega hat is 1 by delta, so pi by 2 minus arc sine, say sine inverse, okay, this itself. So now what happens here is so your real values, so your omega real part, okay. So this will be pi by delta, and imaginary part to say, okay. So automatically it is 0 kind of a thing you have. So which means so you can write your omega hat say, okay. So omega hat is going to be omega real, only real portion will be there. So this can be written as, you see, 1 by delta arc cos say, okay. So 1 plus s square. Okay. So cos of 2 pi by n times lambda minus 1 itself. Okay, so you can even write this expression also. So instead of 2 pi by n lambda, so we can substitute, you followed it, we can also write this expression as 1 by n arc cos. Okay, so 1 plus s square cos of kh minus 1 itself, or you can also write in terms of s itself, so 1 by delta. So arc cos, that is cos inverse 1 plus s square. Okay, so cos of, instead of kh, we can also write in terms of omega delta by s minus 1 actual. Okay, so because already we know, right, the equation between s and relationship between s, I think previous class we have already written. So our s was c into delta by h actually. So now this is our equation. So now your c is nothing but, you see, omega by k. Okay, so if you have kh, say, you can equate it to omega delta by s itself. Okay, so this way we can write here this expression. So now what here this expression says is, so the observation is, what we can observe here is, so what it says is, so when you are having a harmonic wave, say, okay, so a harmonic wave with k and omega, okay, so can propagate in true physical continuum. In a true physical continuum without dispersion. Continuum without the dispersion. Okay, so but in our finite difference method, say, so a grid wave, so this is what we are doing. So a grid wave with k bar is equal to k. So here we are assuming k is k itself, so it can propagate. So it can propagate with grid dispersion. Okay. And its angular frequency, say, so and its angular frequency, is given by the above equation. You followed. So this is an observation actually. So if you have selected your delta and h such that your psi lies from 1 minus 1 to 1 itself. So now in this grid, so your omega bar, so this is our new this itself. So this is our dispersion relation. Original dispersion relation is omega by k itself. Okay. So now here, so this is the meaning of this expression actually. Now another thing is, so the another most important thing what is happening is, when psi lies from minus 1 to 1, say, what is the imaginary part of omega? See, omega imaginary part is 0. So now what is physically it tells you? So the imaginary part of frequency, if it is 0, say, what does it tells you?
Damping is 0.
What does it tells when damping is 0?
It will continue to oscillate.
Damping is 0, so but k is real. Okay, so k is a real, so k doesn't have imaginary component. Omega also doesn't have any imaginary components there. So now, so what does it tells you? There is no damping, or what it tells you is, so at any grid position, say, okay, so if you take at any grid position, in our finite difference, the scheme, the amplitude, okay, of our harmonic wave, okay, so of our harmonic wave, it remains constant. Harmonic wave does not change with time. Okay, this is what we wanted actually. Okay, does not change with the time itself. So the numerical scheme is non-dissipative. Okay, so dissipative. Okay, so this is a non-dissipative scheme itself. So now this is a one case. Now another case is your size, if it is less than minus 1. Now what happens? See, right now we have said that your psi, whatever that quantity, so it cannot, it lies between 1 minus 2s square psi and 1. Anyway, it cannot be more than 1 actually. There is no way that psi can be more than 1. So now what happens is, so your psi say, if it lies between -1 to 1, we have done. So now if psi anyway, it cannot be more than 1. So now only one case we have to see, when psi is less than -1, what happens actually. Either any scheme you see, you will get or not. So now when psi is less than -1, say, so which means your s square, okay, should be more than 2 by 1 minus cos of 2 pi by n lambda. Okay, so this is our the case. So 1 minus cos of 2 pi by n lambda. So this has two case. So now if s satisfies this condition, say, so your psi will be less than or equal to -1. So which means, so what happens when psi is less than -1? See, now we already derived this cases, right, for the general case. So if psi is less than -1, say, now what happens? So what is this case actually? So now this case is ruled out, because in our case your psi cannot be more than 1 itself. Just 1 second. Hello? No, class lo. Okay. Now when psi is less than -1, say, now what does it tells you? See, we have three cases. Okay, so the second case anyway is ruled out, because in our case that psi cannot be more than 1, it is ruled out. Now this is a third case. So this we are examining. What does it tells you? This case we have already seen actually. Okay, when psi lies from -1 to 1, so anyway omega imaginary was 0, so only real part was there. Now this case, what does it tells you? When psi is less than 1, so you have omega real portion is there, then you also will have the imaginary part for the frequency itself. Okay, so imaginary part is the real portion also is there for this case. So now so you can write, so your omega hat real, say, this is pi by delta, then omega hat imaginary, say. So this portion is 1 by delta, so log of minus psi minus psi square minus 1 actual. Okay, and you followed, right? So one can see that this quantity, say, it is always less than 0 itself you have. So now what does it tells you? So when psi is less than, what physically it is trying to tell you? What it tells?
Damping is there.
Damping is there, but whether it is unstable or stable scheme,
Unstable.
See, now you followed it. For that, we have to see whether it exponential increase will be there, or exponential you followed it decrease will be there. You followed. So now if you see this expression, say, so ui of m, so this was e to the power of omega imaginary, okay, m times delta, and then we had I into omega real, m into delta, so minus k hat I into h actual. So this is our expression. Now what we are saying, omega imaginary is obviously less than 0 itself, because psi is less than 1, this one. So now what happens when it is less than 0?
So now exponentially it increases.
Because so this is also negative is there, positive. So what do you call this type of a scheme?
Unstable.
Unstable actual. Okay, so at any spatial grid position, say, okay, so at any spatial the grid position, it is unstable. Okay, so amplitude increases exponentially with time. Okay, so this is unstable scheme. Okay, so now if you want to have any stable schemes, what you have to do is, you should select your delta, you should select your h, the spatial increment and the time increment, such that your psi will lie only from -1 to 1 itself. So this case is perfectly fine. But whereas this scheme is basically using a problem actual. Okay, so these are some important the observations. So here also you can find out actually how much will be the the exponential the increase kind of a thing. So if you try to find out the ratio, say, that is modulus so ui at m plus 1, okay, with ui m, So how much it is increasing actually from mth increment to m plus 1th increment. So you can substitute. It's very easy to solve. So this turns out to be 1 minus minus you followed right, psi square minus 1. So this is how that looks like actual. So smaller the size, okay. So large, the larger is you followed right, q itself actually, okay. And the amplification factor, you can substitute. So psi is 1 minus 2s square. So you can substitute also your q max actually, okay. So this becomes you can do all the algebra. So you can write this as s plus s square minus 1 the whole square. So how much it is? So it depends on your the s itself actually. So now we can also find out, you see. So now what is the minimum this one, and I followed it. What is the minimum frequency which will be highly unstable? So that also can be calculated actually, okay. So now this is one case. So now if you go for the second case, say, okay. So this you can derive. So that is or here you can say before we go to this case. Now, so finally here the stability constraint criteria, okay, the stability or whatever criteria say here. So finally it depends on your psi, and your psi it depends on, you see, the s itself actually, okay. So finally everything boils down to this s, which is your c delta by h itself actually. So this is the one which governs this one. So you can plot, you can make a graph also, like so if you have on the x-axis n times lambda, say, okay, that is how many number of sample points you have taken, and you can plot this yes, okay. So it appears to be so this is one, say, you can draw a graph like this. So this yes, it varies with this one. So the schemes whichever are above, say, it is basically unstable, and then you have this stable schemes also, okay. So based on your n lambda, your s varies, and with s, say, so your psi varies, and psi, if it is from -1 to 1 only, it is stable. Otherwise it is a unstable algorithm which we have here. So now generally what one does in practice, it is something like this equation is, you see, so sc is less than or equal to some sm kind of a thing, okay. So for a given n lambda, say, if s is less than or sm, then we say the solution is stable. Otherwise it is unstable kind of a thing. So to write this in a nice fashion, so yes, we already said, so c delta by h. So this is less than your sm. So your delta, say, it should be less than or equal to, you see, h by c into sm. And suppose if you define a stability ratio, okay. So a new quantity, if I define stability ratio, that is some p, which is defined as c delta by h into, you see, sm kind of a thing. So now one can show that this p lies between 0 to 1 itself, and delta, say, you can write this as so p into h by c into sm actual. So this is the criteria. So whenever you want to do a the finite difference scheme, say, so now this delta, that is your time increment, and your spatial increments, they are linked through this expression itself. So once you have selected your spatial increment, that is your h, say, so the time increment depends on your spatial increment. See, like you can't take arbitrary. So like for example, I have taken h as 1 kilometer spacing. So my grid is up to 1 kilometer. So your delta t, you cannot, it is not, you cannot take as whatever you like delta t I will take it as 0.1 second, whereas h I will take it as 1 kilometer. So it is not possible actually, okay. So there is a chance of instability which can happen. So your time increment and your space increment, both of them are coupled through this equation itself. So if you want to increase so if your h is decreasing, say, so let us say your mesh, you want to have some 100 meters actually, okay. So your delta t also should decrease based on your this h itself. So if h is large, say, so then delta also can be large and you can get a stable result. But if you're having very less in space, the spacing is very less, so time also should be proportionality, it has to be decreased, okay. So this is a very important thing in our finite difference or in any numerical scheme itself. So sometimes it is yes, okay. So this is also known as the courant stability, we say, okay. So it is a courant stability condition generally. This criteria essentially. which anyway, you know, with respect to S itself. So this is a ratio between, you know, the space increment is a time increment to this spatial increment. Okay, so you can derive and you can draw all other conclusions also. Now in a similar format, say you can do for the other case also. Okay, that is, you know, omega can be, you know, this real, and phase can be, you know, this case also one can derive also. Okay, so that is k hat is equal to 1 by h. Oh. So pi by 2, say, minus arc, you know, sine zeta. So already we have written the class in the last class, we have written the expression. So kh was, if you remember, say 1 by h arc cos. Okay, so 1 plus 1 by s square. So cos of, you know, 2 pi by, you know, this nt. So here time will come. Okay, so this was our expression which we wrote in our last class. Okay, so this entire term we are calling as, you know, this psi itself. So now in a similar format, say here itself you can find out. So now our criteria is whatever this psi, whatever you are having. So there is a chance of getting stable results if it lies between, you know, -1 to 1 kind of a thing. You know, just now we have seen now. Suppose if this is less than 1, if it is more than 1, say there is a chance of getting, you know, instability kind of a thing you can have. So now here also, so like the first case is say, so now here also, you know, one can show that. So your cos 2 pi by, you know, this nt. So this inside the expression. Okay, so this can go lies between -1 to +1. So 2 pi by nt. So this can lie between -1 to +1. So which means your psi. Okay, so this quantity, so 1 minus 2 by s square, one can show that your psi, say it less than between, these are the limits actual. So your, in this case also, psi cannot exceed, you know, the 1 itself. So or you can write this expression. So these so now here also we can recognize the two cases. So 1 -1 less than psi less than 1. So which means, you know, so you will have only the real part. So you know, you can you can prove yourself actual. So okay, so k real, say. Okay, so this will be less than pi by h, whereas your k imaginary. Okay, so this will be 0. And our equation, say you can write dispersion equation. You can make some, you know, as a this just some simplifications here. So arc cos. Okay, so 1 plus 1 by p square cos of, you know, pkh. Okay, -1. So everything can be written in terms of p itself using the previous equations. So here now what happens when -1 to psi? So now what it says is, you know, so your imaginary portion is 0. So what do you call this type of a case? So when imaginary is 0, say, and we are saying omega is a real quantity. Now what happens in the medium? If imaginary of k is 0, so previously it was imaginary portion of omega. So now it is a reverse actual. Now what happens when omega k imaginary is 0? What does it tells you? See, previously we have told, right? What do you call this type of a situation?
Attenuation.
No, there is no attenuation. You understand? So when k imaginary is 0, say, okay. So now anyway omega is 0. So what omega is only real. So what happens is, you know, it is a non-attenuative medium actually. Okay, non-attenuative medium itself. So there is no chance of, you follow, right? Amplitude is going to remain, you know, the constant. Okay, at any time spatial position itself. Now similarly we can have another case also. So when psi is less than or equal to -1. So now when psi is -1, say, so then you will have real portion. So the real portion is, you see, pi by h. Now the imaginary portion, say, we have. Okay, so this is 1 by h. Okay, so log of, you know, minus psi minus, you know, psi square -1, and this is also less than 0. It's the imaginary portion. So now when it is imaginary portion, say, now what happens when it is less than 0? What happens to the solution? So you are having a real portion, then you are having an imaginary portion also. So what happens to our solution? Whether it is stable or unstable, or what happens? Now see what happens when imaginary portion, if it is less than 0, go by the same, you know, the expression here. We check here.
It will be stable here.
So now what happens here? So because already, you know, you are having this, you know, the minus sign here actually. Okay, so now what happens? See now omega real you followed, right? You had, so I is also there, you followed, right? So now in this case, now k is k plus I times k imaginary, say what happens here, because there is a negative sign here, so you have minus I into k imaginary, you followed. So now what is here imaginary portion if it is less than 0? So here you are having another negative, negative becomes you followed, right? Plus itself you have here itself. Okay, then finally when it goes to outside, so you are having one more I term here. Okay, so I into I, what happens? I square, so I square becomes minus 1 itself, you followed. So so all of them, you see, so because of the negative sign, so one more negative sign, so it gets cancelled, so there is no instability coming into picture here. Okay, for this case. So if you write this expression so it looks something like this. Okay, so e to the power of k imaginary into h, this is how it comes, your exponent. Okay, so this you can write this as e to the power of log of minus psi minus psi square minus 1. Anyway, logarithm and this gets cancelled, so this becomes minus psi minus psi square minus 1. Okay, so which means what it says is it is not unstable. Okay, so what it says is it is not unstable, so only thing is the amplitudes, say. Okay, sorry, now what it happens is the amplitudes, they decrease actually, of course exponential decrease with spatial position. So scheme is it is not it is stable only, but you followed, right? It automatically decreases actually, but still there is a dispersion here given by that expression itself. So these are you followed, right? Very very important things which you have to finalize that. So now to summarize, say, so we can have these 4 domains are there. Okay, so the first domains, so we have identified 4 cases here. One was k, and so analytically it is, so in the grid, say, so in our final difference grid, so we have k and omega hat. Okay, and we had another case where we had k hat and omega. So omega was real, k was imaginary, or k was real and omega was imaginary. So this case we have seen previously. So this is governed by s less than or equal to 1. Okay, so this is a non-dissipative stable, we say. You followed. So this case we have already seen, and the dispersion equation says, so omega is omega, only real portion will be there. So the dispersion was 1 by delta, so arc cos here was there, so 1 plus s square, say. Okay, so cos of 2 pi by n times lambda minus 1. Okay, so this was a dispersion equation. Now here also this case, so we have found out that you can do all the algebra. So nt, say 2 pi by arc cos. Okay, so 1 minus 2s square we have, and here also it is a non-attenuating. Okay, and your k, so it is basically k hat is it is a pure real kind of a quantity we have, but so our dispersion equations, 1 by h. Okay, so arc cos, so 1 plus 1 by s square so cos of 2 pi by n times t minus 1. So this is one both the cases actually. Now we have unstable cases also we have. So this is s is greater than 1, say, so this is unstable. Okay, so here so what is happening is your real omega real, say, is pi by delta, and omega imaginary. Okay, so this is less than 0. So this is what we have observed. Now similarly here also, so your nt, say, it is less than so 2 pi by arc cos. Okay, so 1 minus 2s square we have, and then we have said that here it is attenuative actually. Okay, so there is no exponential increase, but exponential decrease is there. Okay, and our real part, say, so the real part of k is so pi by this h itself, and imaginary part is less than 0. Okay, so these are the 4 regimes we have actually. Okay, because we can have omega real k complex and k real omega complex also, and now in each case also There is non-dissipative is there, unstable is there, non-attenuative, and then these attenuative cases. The 4 cases are there. Okay. So now what we do in practice is, so now we define so when how to do in algorithms, how to decide or something. So define what we call as a grid. Okay. So phase and group velocities. Phase and velocities. Okay. Grid group velocity. Grid phase and grid velocity. Group velocity we say. Okay. So we define. So now then the final difference grid say. So your velocity. Okay. So that is omega real portion. Okay. Towards k real portion actually. So this is our final difference grid actually. The real portions of this we have. Okay. So now here also we have two things are there. One is with the true physical, true k is real, and other cases also are there. So now we can write our grid dispersion velocity say. Okay. So omega real by k. Same expression whatever we have written. So you can write in nice format. You see p times k times h. So r cos. Okay. So 1 plus p square. So cos of k times h actually minus 1. So multiplied by c. This is your analytical the phase velocity. Or if you want to write in terms of n times lambda also we can write. So you can substitute all other parameters also. So 2 pi into p. So r cos. Okay. So 1 plus p square. So cos of 2 pi by n times lambda say. Okay. So minus 1 multiplied by c. So this is our grid phase velocity. Okay. So now this is our grid phase velocity. Now we can you can also derive other case also. That is so we had is you followed it omega by k real also. This also we can derive. Okay. So this also is more or less same in the previous case. So same expressions. So 2 pi by you can simplify all those expressions. You can write nicely n times t. Okay. So 1 plus 1 by p square. So cos of 2 pi by nt minus 1 we have. So this multiplied by c. Okay. So this is our the second case. So these are the two things what we have the grid phase velocity. Now when you are doing it, we also define, because here the dispersion is not the phase velocity is not constant say. We also define what we call as group velocity also. Okay. So this is nothing but the derivative. So Vg we define. So that is defined as dou W by dou K itself. See generally in our analytical phase say, so your omega by K is going to remain constant kind of a thing. So this group velocity will not come into picture. But since it is here the dispersion equations are not same as analytical medium. So this group, so the derivative also is come into picture itself. So this also you can find out the derivative also by two methods. Okay. One is the K real omega this one. Other one is omega real by k itself. So both the cases you can find out. So you can write this expression as sine of 2 pi by n times lambda by so you have this square root here. So 1 minus, so 1 plus p square say. Okay. So cos of 2 pi by n times lambda. So minus 1. So you have this square here multiplied by c. So this is a group velocities actual. Okay. So this is how all the things comes into picture. So now how do we represent in a final difference scheme? Okay. So how to do it in a numerical simulation? Now let us write the steps. Now how do we select this delta and h? So how to do this numerical simulation using final difference. Okay. And how to avoid this dispersion or something. So now let us say we have a true wave speed. So the true wave speed is c. Okay, which is anyway if it is a p wave say root of mu by rho. So this is your phase velocity. It is a true phase velocity of the medium. Yeah. Now let us say I want to simulate, you followed right the ground motion, or you see the time this one. So I want to simulate, I want to generate a waves. Okay. See like from frequency range is some f minimum to f max. Okay. So like for example in our earthquakes, what is our f minimum to f max? Now Generally in seismic, so how much F minimum and F max varies? See, you people are simulating, right, the ground motions. See, in earthquakes, how much will be?
Maximum.
50 hertz or 25 hertz or whatever. So it's like you say 0 to 25 hertz. So this you have to fix actually what range you want to simulate the wave field. Okay. Now the corresponding wavelength say. So the corresponding wavelength, okay, is given by so your lambda minimum and lambda max. So this is C by F max, okay, and C by F minimum actually. So these are our wavelengths. So this you can decide based on your this itself. So now we want to simulate using our finite difference method accurate actually. So our method we want to be accurate, okay, for these wavelengths, for these for the range of these wavelengths. Okay, so now we have to select the scheme. So now what to do is our stability condition is given by delta is equal to P H by C SM. So this is our the main you see the equation actual current stability equation, and we have said if the scheme has to be stable, say, so this has to be less than 1 and SM anyway is equal to 1 itself actually. Okay, so now so on the grid dispersion, so our velocities also we know that the dispersive velocity, all those things. So we had say, so this is given by n lambda by using 2 pi p, okay, arc cos. So 1 plus p square. So cos of so 2 pi by n lambda minus 1. So multiplied by c. So this is our grid the phase velocity. Now you also write the group velocity also, okay, that is dou omega by dou k. So already the expression I have written there, the same expression. Okay, so we can write this expressions as your phase velocity, say, if you denote this some constant actual. So it depends on n lambda and p. So you can see here, so n lambda and p only are the main the criteria. So multiplied by c itself. Now similarly, so your group velocity. So this also some that equation say this also depends on n lambda and p multiplied by c. I have written the equation previous case itself. Okay, so now we proceed as follows in the numerical scheme. So what we try to do is now we have to choose, you see, a value. So choose a value of stability ratio, okay, depending on your computational resources, say. Okay, so stability ratio, so 0 less than p less than or equal to 1. Okay, so you can take p any value you can choose such that p lies from 0 to 1, then only you will get a nice solutions. Otherwise the schemes may become unstable also. Now what to do is, what our criteria is, because as already I told you, right, as a distance increases, the wave speed in finite difference method reduces, because 100 kilometer means your waves cannot go to 100. It goes only to 98 or maybe 97 depending on your delta and h itself. Like last class we have already seen. Now what we do is we require, so now what we try to find out the absolute difference, say. Okay, so what we try to do is absolute difference, okay, between the arrival times. So between the arrival times and the numerical phase time. So phase arrival times, okay, at a distance d. Be not larger than than this some delta. So this is also another criterion what we do actually. So now in the original, if the distance is d, say, in analytical medium, what is the phase velocity is c itself actual. Okay, now this is the distance. Now in our mediums, now our phase velocity depends on p actual. Okay, so now what our criteria is, this should be less than some delta. So this also we have to fix. So now this condition, say, so now if you try to write it nicely, so you can write this expression as d by so d plus c times delta. So this you can bring, that is n lambda comma p here, less than d by d minus c times delta. Same equation only. You can rewrite if you substitute say v bar p as this expression you bring there, and then you do some algebra say. So that expression can be written in terms of like this itself. So now our next procedure is, so now we find out actual. So you estimate. Okay. So we find, you see, the smallest. You follow the smallest n times lambda. Okay. So that satisfies the above condition. The above condition. So this is another criteria we have. Okay. So now we have selected P. Now we have to select n times lambda itself. Okay. So now this you have to select based on this condition. Okay. So this is the next step. Now what we do is, so now the spatial sampling is known to us. Okay. So if I denote this as P comma delta corresponding to that P and this one. So now, so now we obtain the value of grid spacing. Okay. So now once, this n P comma delta is known say from the above procedure. So now we can find out H, that is a spatial increment. So lambda minimum. So we know how much is the minimum wavelength in my model. So n times lambda P comma is a delta kind of a thing. So now H is known to you. Now once H is known to you, say, now we have to find out, H is known. Now we have to find out the delta T. Okay, the time step. So the condition is, delta is equal to P H by C into Sm actual. Okay. So now this will give you followed, right? You know this value, and the last check we try to do is, F max, say whatever F max we have multiplied by delta less than, your FATT followed, right? The normalized, or that equation is, I will write that equation here. So this is the last criteria, you have to verify. Okay. So this should, sorry, I will write here itself. Because this comes from the other conditions. Okay, so arc cos 1 minus 2p square say by 2 pi. Okay, so these are the steps actually. So if you want to, so it in a numerical, when you are doing it in a finite difference format say, so this is how you have to solve your equations. See here, let me go through once again the steps. So now what is that you have to do in a finite difference framework now? So in a finite difference framework, so when you want to solve anything, so now you have to decide what should be your H and what should be your delta. So this is a starting point, time increment and your spatial increment. So for this, what we have done here, so now first is, you have to choose a value of stability ratio. Okay. So your choice is your P lies between 0 to 1 itself. So this is the first case. Okay. So you can take P as, 0.5 or, 0.6 or whatever, or 0.1. So you can choose any value lying in between these two. Now the next thing what we are doing is, suppose if I have a source here and if I have a site far away, let us say I'm simulating up to some 100 kilometers or maybe 1000 kilometers. Say. So this much distance, my finite element mesh or my finite difference mesh, it is there. So now our criteria is the original phase velocity. See how much time the wave, for the wave to travel from source to this distance. Say, okay. So in a medium, I know already the analytical phase velocity is c. So 1000 by c will give me the exact, the time itself, what time the wave is going to reach. Now in my finite difference mesh, say, because I have done this discretization, velocity is not c. Basically, it is some, this v hat p. We just wrote the phase velocity above. So this is our way. This one say. So this type of expressions we are having. It is not c. So what you do is, so that this distance, the time arrival times, you fix some error. Okay, so this delta has to be fixed actually. So how much delta you are, 10% or 2% or 1% error you have to choose. So now, so once you know this delta and once you know p itself, so now delta is known, p is known. So you have to get this only n times lambda. Okay, distance also based on your mesh. So now once you know this n lambda say, so now you followed, right? You can find out your spatial increment through this expression. Once a spatial increment is there, you find out your time increment, and this is the last check you have to do whether you all the things are stable or not actual. Okay, so this is now the broad, you see, the procedure which you have to follow in finite difference method to avoid this, this stability and this dispersion. But whatever you do, say your solutions may be, you know, stable, but dispersion you cannot avoid actually. Okay, some amount of dispersion automatically comes into your you know, the simulations, because whatever you do, your you know, the phase velocity in your grid, say, will not be exactly same as, you know, C itself actually. Okay, and this dispersion errors also they increase with the increase in distance. So generally in finite difference or any finite element or spectral element, any methods, you say, let us say you have a source here and you have a site at a distance of 100 kilometers. Okay, so you want to simulate up to 100 kilometers. What we try to do in practice is, you know, you increase your mesh, so you go up to 1000 kilometers. Okay, and then up to you take this as 1000 kilometer, and then you do all these calculations, so D and other things you find out here. So now you, what happens is at 100 kilometers, so your results will be, you know, more accurate, you know, up to 100 kilometer. Suppose you take 100 kilometer only, you are interested, but let us say your mesh is only 500 kilometers. And now what happens if it is, if you have increased it to 500, say, so now, you know, in this minimization you will take 500. So here, you know, when if you are calculating the steps, if you are calculating this amplitude at 100 kilometer only, but error here will be, you know, the more the dispersion, you followed. So dispersion will be more here, but whereas here dispersion will be less actual, because you know, you have taken a large region and then you have you know, got these numbers with respect large, so at small distances. So this will be more accurate rather than, you see, these type of schemes itself actually. Okay, so this is how the broadly you followed, right, the procedure. So what you people can do is you can write a small you know, MATLAB program, say, taking all these steps. Okay, so now in this MATLAB program your input should be you know, your F minimum, F max. Okay, so this is your criteria, and wavelength also. So this also you have to decide it, or maybe wavelength is decided by your you know, this itself. Okay, once you know C, so you have to give, you have to write a small program, you give this F min, F max, and then your C, then you have to define P, then you have to define delta, how much arrival time error. So using this one, so your program should tell me what should be my, you know, the time step, and what should be my spatial increment actually. So this is how we can calculate using, you know, this stability analysis itself. Okay, so anyway, I will stop here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me.
So what is the last step? What does F max and into delta mean?
No, this case, you know, it comes from, I have skipped actually. Okay, see here, as already I told, no, two steps are there. See, one is with respect to this, other one is with respect to this actual. Okay, so now what we have done is here, no, I have not gone into detail, that is psi less than or equal to -1, say. So simply I have mentioned here. So here also you followed it, we have just written, you know, I have mentioned the equations. So like if you see the first case, say, okay, oh, sorry, the first case, where it is, see this case, we have written, right, this case, you followed S square greater than 2, and we have done some, you remember here, all these things we have done actual. Okay, so this I have skipped. So these equations, you solve for the other case, you will get this FATT and others also. So the last one will come here. So this portion you can expand. So you can go through that book, no? He has given the detail. Okay, so if you go through this section, you will understand that one. So these are the steps here. Because here what happens, it is not only the, you know, the you have dissipation, but you also have to avoid this you know, this dispersion also. So this case, if you go for this case, will give you, you know, a dispersion will be minimum actual. Okay, so if you follow up to steps E, say, so you may get a stable algorithm, but if you want to have this dispersion also, if you want to try to avoid it. Okay, so this depends on the F max. So this is one last check we try to do it. This is like a check. Okay, it is not a method, but it is just a check actually. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
So you please go through that book, and maybe, you know, you have to do this you know, one assignment kind of a thing we can plan.